Toddler Science with Miles. Today is D for density. All right, buddy. Can you get the balloon? We're going to see, does the balloon float? Does it stay on top of the water or does it go under the water? Is it on top of the water or under the water?
Under the water.
Is it on top of the water? Or did it go all the way down to the bottom?
No.
So is it on top? Yeah, you have to apply pressure for it to go all the way down. So it's on top of the water. That means that the boat or the balloon floated. Good job. You can take it out. So balloons float because they are less dense than the water.
Do that one.
All right, you want to do the modeling clay? All right, so did the modeling clay stay on top of the water like the balloon or did it go to the bottom?
It go bottom.
All right, so that means it sank. And so the modeling clay is denser than the water, which is why it went down to the bottom. All right, let's check off, hold on, let's check off that the balloon floats and that the modeling clay in the ball form, it sank. Okay, you can do rock. Whoa. All right, what happened to the rock? Did the rock stay on top of the water or did it go to the bottom of the bowl, under the water? In the water. Bottom of the bowl. So it sank. So let's check off that the rock sank because it is denser than the water. So where is, so our rock, and it sank. Good job, buddy. All right, you can take the rock out. All right, what one do you want to do next?
I do.
We did the modeling clay already. Which one do you want to do next? You have a rubber ducky. Okay, you want to do rubber ducky? All right, so put the rubber ducky in. Nice job. So is the rubber ducky staying on top of the water or did the rubber ducky go to the bottom of it?
I'll go top.
Yeah, it's on top. So do you remember what it's called when it's on top? It means it's doing what?
It's down mine.
So it's floating. Yeah, you have to apply pressure and push it down for it to go down. But otherwise, it's going to stay on top and float because the rubber duck is less dense. Yeah, is less dense than the water. All right, so let's check off that the rubber duck floated. Yeah. All right, next one. What do you want to do next? We did the rock already, silly Billy. We did that one. How about the big paper clip? You want to try the big paper clip? Nice job. What happened to the big paper clip?
Go down bottom.
It went down to the bottom. So that means that it sank, which means that it is more dense than the water. So we're going to check off that the big paper clip went to the bottom. So can you take the big paper clip? It sank. It's less dense. And then we'll see if size has anything to do with it. You want to try the small paper clip? All right, so what happened to the small paper clip? What happened to the small paper clip?
Go down bottom.
All right, so it sank. Can you say it sank?
Sink.
Yeah, because it is more dense than the water. So the small paper clip is more dense than the water. So it didn't matter the size in that case. All right, can you take the paper clip out? All right, you want to try the plastic spoon? Yep. Whoa. That's funny. All right, so what happened to the plastic spoon in that case?
Go down bottom.
Yeah, it went down to the bottom. So in this case, it is denser than the water.
Go down.
That surprised Mommy. She thought it would float. All right, what happened goes to the metal spoon. What did it do?
Go down bottom.
All right, so what's that called when it goes down to the bottom? Did it float or did it sink?
Sink.
Yeah, it sinks. Very good. If it goes down to the bottom, it sinks. So we're going to put that sank. All right, you can take it out. Oh, we're getting stuff wet over here. All right, outlet cover. All right, so is that staying at the top or is it floating, or I mean, is it sinking down to the bottom?
Sinking.
Is it at the bottom of the bowl or is it staying at the top? It's staying at the top, so that's called floating.
I'll take it.
So it floated. Yep, you can take it out because it is less dense than the water. So the outlet cover is less dense than the water. All right. What do we have next? Milk cap. You want to try putting the milk cap in? All right. And even with the milk cap filled with water, did it stay at the top or did it float or did it sink?
Let's see.
So did it stay at the top and float or did it go all the way down to the bottom and sink? Well, you're making it sink now with your applying pressure. You made it sink. But look, what happened? What did it do? What did it do? It's going back up to the top. Right? It went back up to the top. So what does that mean? If it's up at the top, what do we call that, Miles? No, we're not putting it in our mouth. If it's at the top of the water, what are we calling it?
Flash.
It's floating. It's floating.
Flowing.
Yep. Because the plastic milk cap is less dense than the water. All right, you can put that back in. Let's see. Do we have everything?
I'll do that one.
Oh, the model clay. You know what we can do with the model clay? We're going to change the shape of it, and we're going to see if it changes its results. So what happened to the model clay when we originally put it into the water?
I'll do that one.
What happened to the model clay when we originally put it in the water? Did it sink or did it float? Did it go to the bottom?
I'll do that one again.
You want to do that one again? All right.
And what's that one?
This is the model clay. All right, when we originally put it in, it sank, right? So let's see if when I change the shape of it, we'll take that one out. When I change the shape of it, if it floats or if it sinks, what did it do? What did it do? Did it go to
Flash.
splash? That time it was splash. All right, when I change the shape, hold on. Is it staying at the top of the water?
My dirt.
Yep. Can you put it gently in?
A flash.
No splash. You like to make it sink. But based on its shape,
No.
you can put it on the top of the water.
Flash.
Watch. I know you like to make it sink. Watch. Can mommy show you something? So it can stay floating at the top of the water.
I might do it.
I know you. It can stay floating at the top of the water because the shape is pushing against the water and is keeping it upright.
Flash.
Yeah, but when you put it in sideways like that, it's going to sink. Nice job, buddy.
Flash.
All right. So what is it called when it stays on top of the water? What is it called when it stays on the top of the water? Is it floating or sinking? Miles, when it stays on top of the water, is it floating or sinking? What did the rock just do? Did it float or sink? Did the rock float or sink? Gentle, gentle. Did it float or sink?
Flash.
Yeah, and when the rock goes to the bottom, is it floating or sinking?
I go bottom.
Yeah, it went to the bottom, so that's called sinking because it is more dense than the water. And when the balloon stays on top, that's called floating because it's less dense than the water.